right.
No, it didn't. Now, let me just try this again because it didn't. Oh, okay. Recording is on. Let's go.
Okay. Thank you, Madam President, fellow Toastmasters and guests. Thank you for that wonderful introduction. As Toastmaster of the Day, it is my responsibility to introduce today's speakers. After the speeches have concluded, I will ask for the timer's report, request ballots be passed to the vote counter, introduce the general evaluator, ask the counter for their report, ask the grammarian for their report, and call on the vote counter for results. I will then turn control of the meeting to the president before we conclude today. Thank you, Madam President.
Well, thank you. So as president of the club, I will quickly review the agenda. We are expecting the word of the day person momentarily. I see that we don't have our table topics master present. So unless the table topics master shows up, I'll probably pull up my random wheel unless somebody wants to volunteer to be the backup table topics person.
I can do it.
You're like, oh, you okay? All right, great. Thank you. Thank you. Going forward then, I want to thank, well, actually, Bill and I attended the Toastmaster Leadership Institute for training of officers. There are new sessions coming up. And so most people did not get a chance to attend the previous session. So look to the email to see what the future sessions are going to be so that we can all attend and get our training for the year, or at least for the 6 months for this period. Are there any questions? Are there any questions or comments about any upcoming events or items? Okay, then let's go straight into our meeting for the day. I turn control over to our Toastmaster of the day, first time Toastmaster of the day, Che.
Thank you, Madam President. So I guess we're holding off on the word for the day right now. Okay, so we'll go over to the first speech. The first speaker will be Felice. She has a prepared speech. The speech is usually 5 to 7 minutes long. And over to you, Toastmaster Felice.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Che. Thank you, everyone. I will share my screen. This is for my the evaluation and feedback speech, and I think I'm gonna talk about the same topic as last week, with some improvement from the comments. So we'll see. Can you see my screen well now? All right. Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Imagine you're sitting in the window seat at 35,000 feet. You look out the window, see the clouds, and hear the hum of the engines. And you probably just go about your own business. When we think about air travel, we think it's just buying a ticket, boarding the plane, and arriving at our destination. But have you ever wondered what actually went into making that possible? Aviation is not a simple thing. It is a massive, invisible network of many people and highly complex systems operating in absolute sync. That is why I call this the hidden orchestra. It is a real-time performance of human trust and technical precision. And today, let's go behind the scene of commercial aviation to see what it actually takes to keep us flying. If every flight is an orchestra, air traffic controllers are perhaps the closest thing aviation has to conductors. They sit before radar screens and track thousands of aircraft traversing in the sky. That job is highly stressful and extremely fast-paced. From the moment the plane leaves the gate until the moment it arrives at the next one, air traffic control is involved every step of that way. From coordinating the plane on the ground to managing the flight's departure and arrival, and they keep everyone safely separated in the air. And they also need to handle situations such as severe weather or any kind of emergency, and they need to respond very quickly when things happen. Ultimately, their job is to make sure the air traffic is flowing safely and efficiently. Here's a number to give you a look into the scale of that responsibility. At a busy airport like Atlanta, one air traffic controller may handle 60 to 70 aircraft in a single hour. That is essentially talking to a new aircraft almost every minute. And everything they say has to be safety critical. I even have trouble keeping track of a busy group chat on Teams. So that is something. And luckily for us, those people are pretty good at giving orders. And here I have a brief recording from the Atlanta Tower to give you an actual feel of what it sounds like. I got so absorbed into this, I watched a dozen of these recordings. Let me know if you can hear it. Should be good.
Double 2368 Arnett, Ronnie, runway ARAC, clear for takeoff.
ARAC, clear for takeoff, Arnett, Ronnie, Delta 2368.
Did you hear that? You didn't hear any, did you hear any audio at all? Okay, yeah, but you didn't understand what it talked about? Yeah, that's about what happened. So the controller basically directs the plane. I had the transcript down here, tells it where to go and what to do, and the pilot repeats it back. That is to confirm they're in absolute alignment. And all of that conversation is happening within 8 seconds. This has to be really fast. And that is our conductor of the entire orchestra. And next comes to the ensemble. In aviation, the ensemble is the ground support network that fine-tunes the instrument long before it ever takes off. It can be roughly divided into 3 critical sections. First, we have maintenance. They do inspections and repairs, and they do preventive checks to ensure the plane is mechanically flawless. And then second is the ground crew. They refuel the tank, load the baggages, and calculate for the exact weight and balance of the plane so that it flies stable. And that's why you have that weight limit when you bring in your check-in bag to the airport. They need to know how much weight is going in and where it is exactly going to be placed in the plane. And the third part is the flight dispatch. They plan the routes, they check for the weather, and they do the fuel calculations and doing all kinds of planning and monitoring works related to the flight planning. And do you know, if there is one flight cancellation, it can affect dozens of following flights that are related to that one plane in one flight. So I would say flight dispatchers are probably the people who hate flight cancellation the most in the entire world. Probably a lot more than us passengers do. They have to work overtime for that, I'm sure. And finally, we have the spotlight shines on the performers we actually see. That is the flight crew. They are the soloists of this orchestra. The first and foremost, we have the pilots. They're the people probably getting the most credit for because they fly the plane, and when things aren't right, our lives depend on their hands, literally. That is why pilots spend hours training in simulators for emergencies, so they know when things happen what to do exactly and immediately. And most of the emergencies, they will never see that happen in their entire career. And besides the pilots, we have the flight attendants. We often think of them in terms of customer service, but really their primary responsibility isn't serving drinks. They are safety professionals. They are trained in firefighting, first aid, emergency evacuation, and security response. And they are the crew's eyes and ears in the cabin. So now, when the soloists take the stage, they bring together the work of everyone behind them. Now our flight is ready to go. So the next time when you board a plane, take a moment to think about the people you never see. In modern commercial aviation, thousands of people perform this quiet symphony of safety every single day, and they do it so well that we have come to take it completely for granted. We don't clap when a flight goes perfectly. And in fact, when the flight is over, passengers simply stand up, grab their bag, and walk off the plane. That unceremonious exit is actually the ultimate standing ovation. It means the orchestra did its job perfectly. Thank you.
Thank you for that speech, Toastmaster Felice. We're going to present the word of the day now, and that will be presented by Joan, Toastmaster Joan.
Okay, can everybody hear me? Okay, I can hear you nodding your heads. Okay, so the word of the day is parasite. It's an organism that lives on or in another organism, and they steal nutrients or blood and cause illness. It can also refer to someone who depends on others for money, support, or resources without contributing fairly in return. Thirdly, it can be an organization or system that benefits from others while giving little or nothing back to society. The word is parasite.
Thank you for the word of the day, Toastmaster Joan. If and when you have time, if you can put that in the chat, that would be great. So we'll move on to the second speaker, Toastmaster Alan Turner.
All right.
Thank you, Toastmaster Shay. I appreciate being here. I'm going to give my icebreaker tonight. No one here really knows me, except maybe my two sisters and my niece, somewhat. Been looking forward to doing it, though. I was raised in a house that had a microscope, a telescope, and in the basement, there was a homemade Tesla coil of my dad's design. As a child, I became fascinated, full of childlike wonder, peering down the lens into the microscope world. I learned about optics, focus, and the powers of magnification. We looked at bugs that have multiple complex compound eyes, like a common housefly. We looked at plant cells, individual cells on the leaf of a blade of grass. I looked at the crystalline structure of a single grain of sand. As for the telescope, looking out into deep space stirred my youthful imagination. I began to consider the vastness of deep space, a bit overwhelming for a child. The concept of infinity to a 9-year-old boy was staggering. I was told about stars and planets and galaxies and supernova and black holes, a variety of other features in the universe. Wow, and it wowed me. It set me back on my intellectual heels at 9 years old, began to try to absorb the complexity of all these things. and you learn about light travel through space. And that, again, mind-boggling. Now for the Tesla coil I saw in my basement. I witnessed the raw power of electromotive force jumping several inches through the air, like lightning from one electrode to another, as it zipped across and then went up slowly. Something you might see in a Frankenstein movie was right there, right in front of me. On that day, a little 9-year-old boy tried to comprehend electricity, but he could not. It was like a fantasy. It was like magic happening up close and personal. These activities did, in fact, change me forever. It lit a spark in me that still burns today, and that spark is a love for science. To this day, I love a telescope, a good telescope. I love a good microscope and a good Tesla coil. What a turn on those things really are. But these things changed me forever, for the good. As the years passed in my teenage years in high school, getting a car was top priority. Having a car meant you could finally be out from under your parents' oversight. It meant freedom to go wherever I wanted to go, do whatever I wanted to do. It meant being able to take a girl on a date to a drive-in movie, for those of you that remember drive-ins. There were, however, some rocky roads ahead for me at 16 years old. For this inexperienced driver, after just 6 weeks of buying my first car, 67 Firebird convertible, I smashed it into a parked car racing against my best friend. I had 3 girls in the car at the time. Moral of the story? Never date 3 girls at one time. It's bad for your reputation. I soon learned to bust my knuckles doing all my own repairs, going to the junkyard, getting parts, putting a whole front end on that car, and now had a tri-colored car, red, white, and green. It was a red and white car, red with a white top. Now I had a green front end on this car, so it looked like something of a mishmash. I went on to crash more cars before I learned about another aspect of science called inertia. You've heard of that. I learned about inertia, and I learned about another thing. 2 objects cannot occupy the same space at the same time. I found out that was true by driving my car. It was wonderful. It was a glorious learning curve for a teenager like myself. As a teen, I wasn't encouraged to go to college. There were too many good options for a career in an industrialized city like Detroit. I landed a job in a machine shop. I began to develop more skills by moving from company to company. After 25 years, I grew weary of the machine shop because of the economic roller coaster, and so many jobs were going offshore. I would get laid off and get called back, only to get laid off 6 months later. So I decided to abandon machinery altogether and to become an electrician. This was a great decision on my part, because that work cannot be sent out. It can't be sent offshore. It must be done here on location. And that kind of work always has a demand. So it's stable. After working as an apprentice electrician, I started my own business after 2 years. And that served me well. I was in business for myself for 15 years doing electrical work. Do I see the red? Okay, I'm out of time, I guess. I ran out of time on this, so I'm going to finish this then. I was sponsored by my lovely sister Karen to be a member here. I hope to be a valuable member and to bring value to your table. It'll be great fun. It will require effort on my part, and I'm sure it will pay off in great dividends. Thank you.
Thank you, Toastmaster Allen, for that wonderful speech and for introducing us to you. The next speaker, well, so that's all the speakers for today. Next will be table topics. So the table topics master was supposed to be Tara, but
But it's me, Kim.
okay, got it. Sorry. So it'll be Toastmaster Kim for today. Can you take that over, Toastmaster Kim? Thank you.
Yes, thank you so much, Toastmaster of the Day, Jay. So we are doing our table topics of the day, and we're talking about the summer because it's summertime, people. The best time of the year, or is it? Maybe we'll discuss it during our table topics. And I'm going to call on someone who has not yet had the opportunity to speak, Toastmaster Anthony Gore. For your question, I ask you, you have a completely free 48-hour weekend. Please describe your ideal itinerary from beginning to end on these beautiful weekend 48 hours during summer.
All right. Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and Toastmaster or table topic master of the day, Kim. What a beautiful question. Oh my God. What would I do with 48 free hours? Um, oh, that just brought a smile to my face because life as of now is so busy with the 4-year-old and the 1-year-old waking you up at the top of the morning on the weekend when you think they're going to sleep in, but waking you up at 7 a.m. So the first thing I would do to start my weekend off, I would wake up whenever I woke up. Usually I'm a early riser, but with 48 free hours, I wouldn't have an alarm. I will wake up, make myself a fresh cup of coffee, turn on the news, and followed by Sports Center and make my favorite breakfast. I would make pancakes, sausage, and eggs, and sit in my backyard and listen to some music. Depending on how my yard look, I may or may not do yard work depending on the weather. But if I can uh, define or if I can choose the weather, it would be a beautiful day like it is today. A little breezy, 75 degrees, sun out. I will proceed to go out go to a local park to fly my drone, followed by sports. Right now we're in baseball season and NBA draft season. So I will come back home and consume sports after catching wonderful footage and aerial views. Thank you. I didn't quite cover 48 hours, but I gave you a gist of what a day will look like.
That's wonderful. That sounds like a delightful weekend full of fun and relaxation. My next Toastmaster will be Toastmaster Tracy. Toastmaster Tracy. You check into a hotel room on a hot summer day, but the air conditioning is completely broken. What do you do?
Oh, well, thank you, not Toastmaster, Topics Master Kim, for that horrifying scenario. I would immediately seek to get another room because I'm not going to be able to be comfortable on this horribly hot day in a room with no air conditioning. And I also count on that air conditioning at night for white noise to block out any other sounds. So I would seek to get a different room at that hotel. And if they had none that were functioning with air conditioning, then I would seek a refund and try to find another place, because it would be my very last option to stay in a room with no air conditioning, as somebody who has gone tent camping with Boy Scouts where there's no electricity at all. And the last week of July was always our week, and it was horrendously hot, miserable, and not something I would ever want to repeat, even in the comfort of a hotel room. That's still a no-go. So I would say I would be nice. I wouldn't yell. I wouldn't cuss. I'd be very nice and pleasant, but I would be firm that I'm not staying in that room. I will find another accommodation. So it's a deal breaker for me. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I agree. I can't live without my air conditioning. I'm a baby. Toastmaster Sheila. Toastmaster Sheila Buswell. Let's see. You are in charge of bringing potato salad to a massive neighborhood cookout, but you've never made it before. How do you disguise the store-bought potato salad to pass it off as your own?
Oh, I would put it in my own dish. I would like top it with stuff so it looks, and I'm saying this because this is what I do. I am not a domestic goddess. So potato salad, I would get a take the Schnucks is our local grocery store. I would take it and put it in a Sheila dish. And then put my own spoon and maybe some, I don't know, some condiments or something like pepper or salt or something on top so that people could see it. That didn't look store-bought. But other than that, I don't have any. I I am not judgy of people who when they bring packaged goods because that's what I do. So yeah. And I don't want to be too good at anything because I don't want anybody to think this is the best potato salad ever. I'm going to ask Sheila to do it every time. So learning competence, I don't do that, but I don't like go above and beyond. My mom would go above and beyond. I don't. I mean, and I'm timer, so I'm going to be green. Back to you, Kim. Thanks for a lovely question.
Yay, good job. I agree. I don't want to be too good at anything and thus be responsible for it for the rest of time. Toastmaster Che. You are packing for a spontaneous beach trip. What is the one absolute must-have item you can't leave home without?
Thank you, Table Topics Master Kim. One item I probably just couldn't live without with going to a beach, you said? Sunscreen. I would definitely need sunscreen. I wouldn't be able to leave without that. That would probably be top on the list, probably over my phone, especially depending on how long I stay out. So yeah, that's something that I try to add in my skincare, but especially on the extremely hot and sunny days, I try to have that on. Yes. So yeah, that would be sunscreen. Phone would be a close second to that. I would probably try to challenge myself to go without a phone in order to just kind of take in the scenery and just go kind of like that would be a bit of a challenge for me. But yeah, definitely sunscreen. I would definitely need. Thank you, Topics Master Kim.
Thank you. I agree. And I'm so glad you said that. Skin cancer is real. Everybody wear your sunscreen. Follow Che's amazing example. Next up, let's see, who have I not called on yet? Toastmaster Karen Baird. If you could only listen to one song on repeat for the next 3 months, what is it and why? What's your summer jam gonna be?
Some of you might know that I do listen to songs on repeat for months on end because my husband, who is a music lover, he gets enthralled with something new and he just plays it over and over and over and over and over again. And so I do actually listen to the same song for months on end. This summer, I'm going to say, based on my current experience, it would have to be from the group called Lord Huron. And they have a plethora of albums. I'm going back to a previous word of the day, a plethora of albums, but none of them are parasitic. They all offer wonderful encouragement and joy as we spend our time listening to the beautiful songs of Lord Huron. They were originally from Michigan. They have kind of a very Americana sound to them. So make a note, Lord Huron. Look them up on YouTube and see if there's a song or two that you might like from Lord Huron. With that, I will turn back over to our Table Topics Master.
Thank you. Love Lord Huron, so good. Next up, I'm going to call on Toastmaster Felice. Your neighbor loves to cut their grass at 5:30 in the morning every Saturday. You finally decide to talk to them about it. What do you say?
Thank you, Toastmaster Kim, for that interesting question. Well, first off, if in reality, I'm a very good sleeper, I normally don't notice any noise like that. I'll just shut the window and all good. And in a hypothetical situation, I would probably approach them and maybe not directly into the point, but start chatting to know something about their, lifestyle kind of thing, like, oh, your lawns look very nice, and what do you do, and stuff like that. And I'm I'm the kind of person that are afraid of conflicts, so I'll try to avoid conflict as much as possible. Once I get to know the reason behind it, like why they really have to do it in the morning, I might just, understand it. And closing the window and turn up my AC, the white noise will be good. So will be fine for me. And then if there's any other choices for them as well, I could probably start talking in that direction if they can do it at a different time. But I for difficult conversations like that, I don't have a lot of good choices. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I love that you want to understand and just be so kind. That's so nice. Toastmaster Alan, do you like summer fireworks? Why or why not?
Do I like summer fireworks? I do, actually. I've spent endless hours blowing things up. When I was younger, we would actually, as a young kid, preteen, we would take CO2 cartridges and cut the end off and jam it full of match heads, and we would make our own fireworks. Sometimes they would just explode and the metal would peel open, and sometimes they would take off like a rocket into the who knows out of the neighborhood. Because it was so unpredictable, it's part of why it was so enjoyable. When you're a young kid, you want that kind of an adrenaline rush from explosions and rockets. So yes, I do like that. I don't like the mundane, boring fireworks where you go to somebody's small display and it's lackluster. There are even parasitic fireworks that try to take advantage of you. But But overall, yes, I like fireworks, but I will not travel long distances to watch it. I'd rather not. Just turn on the TV, you'll see it there.
Okay, I
Back to you, Table Topics Master.
did not know that. Maybe keep the explosives away from Toastmaster Alan. Toastmaster Joan. I'm looking at my list here. What are some of your favorite summertime hobbies? You're muted, sorry.
Okay. I was just saying, I'm sorry to say I do not have any hobbies, winter or summer. My husband and I get up and eat a super healthy breakfast and we go to the gym every day. And then we just do fun things. I'm recovering from a knee surgery. And so there's not a whole lot I could do. Play with the dog and things like that. And just, that's not a good question for me because I don't have any hobbies. I was just talking to Karen about maybe taking up painting or something. Anyway,
Wow,
I'm sorry. That's not a good answer.
that's okay. You tried. Great job. All right, I think I got everybody. That's the end of table topics. Thank you. Back to you, Toastmaster of the Day, Toastmaster Che.
Thank you, Table Topics Master Kim. So we'll move on to evaluations. And the general evaluator for the day will be Toastmaster Karen. I'll give it over to you.
Thank you. And as the general evaluator, my role is to evaluate the meeting, and I would like to introduce our team. However, I did get a note from Anthony saying he had to jump off to go to a work call. Felice, he says he has notes that he's going to send you for the evaluation, but I was also paying attention, so I'm going to jump in and give you my observations. So this was the second time that you did this speech. And while I don't specifically recall everything from the first evaluation, I'm going to say that you were very confident and more comfortable this time. Everything seemed to just flow and was much smoother this time through. Timing did not seem to be an issue. I know that last time there seemed to be some extra time that was required to get through the entire speech, but this time you were within the time limits. It just seemed like such a natural presentation for you this time. It almost seemed like it was effortless this time versus last time. That's my observation. So I'm not exactly sure what feedback you implemented, but whatever it was, it just in a subtle way made the entire speech more enjoyable for us as an audience and seemingly more enjoyable and gave you more confidence as the speaker. So I'm just going to, normally we don't do this, but I'll just ask you, what were the things that you were trying to implement in revising the speech?
I think last time the main thing was the time. It was 1 or 2 minutes over, and I actually rehearsed a couple of times to shorten the speech.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how much time it was. I had a timer on my screen. It was like a little over 7, but I tried to close to 7 as possible. And I think the other thing was like it was also related to fluency of the speech.
Mhm.
So I tried to make sure that the words and all the things are fluent.
Thank you for sharing that, because my observation is that you achieved both of those, and the whole gestalt of the entire speech was improved and elevated. So I think you did very well. Sheila, did you have a question or comment?
I just had a comment. I was the evaluator for the last time she gave the speech, and it was much better. And yes, it flowed, and you improved a great deal, Felice, and it was wonderful.
Thank you.
Like, and I probably owe you. I have notes somewhere, but it's been a week. It's been 2 weeks. So anyway, good job. Thanks. That was all.
Thank you.
Thank you both. Our next part of our evaluation will be the evaluation of Alan's icebreaker speech by our evaluator, Toastmaster Kimberly Cooley-Baird.
The purpose of the icebreaker speech is to have the member introduce him or herself to the club and learn the basic structure of a public speech. I think that you definitely achieved that goal. Didn't know what to expect, but I was surprised and delighted by the opening of your speech, talking about the different scientific instruments that were present in the basement of your childhood home and how that spurred a love and curiosity for learning, particularly surrounding science, and how that carried you through your teenage years and into adulthood. You had a good use of pauses to ensure that your language was deliberate and you did not have filler words. Your spoken word was very clear. We could understand exactly what you were saying while you were saying it. I was impressed by the strong use of vocabulary, words like crystalline, staggering, weary. It was very evocative. It was painting a picture with words. And you utilized gestures, which is impressive for an icebreaker speech. When you were talking about the Tesla coil, you kind of demonstrated what the sparking electricity looked like. So great job there. Continue to work on incorporating gestures into your speeches because that's some of the assignments that'll be coming up in the future on your pathway. You engaged humor really well, which I didn't know if you were going to do that. We were very sincere and earnest at the beginning of the speech, and then you talked about your car and you injected some humor in there, gave us all a little chuckle. That was great. And then you talked about your trade of being an electrician and how you came to that. The thing that I would suggest that you stretch for is perhaps practicing your speech aloud with a timer going, because I felt like we were building to something, and then once you saw that red color come on, it was like, oh no, I'm over time. And that's okay, because the structure of your speech to that point was so good. I know that we'll have great things to come. That's where you're going to stretch for, is just making sure you're within that time limit and you can build the story arc of your speech within that time limit. So great job overall. I feel like we got to know you, and it was a wonderful experience hearing your icebreaker.
Thank you, Kimberly. It looks like Alan has his hand raised, so he looks like he wants to make some comments or give some feedback.
Oh, I couldn't remember if I was supposed to do 4 to 6 minutes. Did I have a full 6 minutes? Did I go past the 6-minute mark?
I have you down, Alan, as 7:39.
Oh, wow.
Seconds or whatever. 7 minutes, 39 seconds, and 10 whatever microseconds or something. I don't know. I know. I don't know how to read my stopwatch. I guess is my.
All right. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I will say that's one of the toughest things in my experience about the icebreaker speech is we're asking you to tell us about you. And most people want to go in a chronological order up to present. And that's a lot of information to cover in a very short amount of time. So don't be discouraged that you went over a little bit. I think we all do it.
Okay. I'll work on that. Some speeches are a little longer, I understand. Okay.
Most of our speeches are 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Except for some specialty speeches that are longer than that. But most of our speeches are 5 to 7 minutes.
Okay.
Which works out good. And that works out good because that gives us time to have 3 speeches. If we want to have 3 speeches in a meeting, we have time for that. So now I would like to ask we already talked to Sheila for a minute. Let's bring her forward as our timer, and she'll tell us how we did on use of time during the meeting. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot something. Oh my goodness. I forgot something. Sheila, before you give your timers report, will you please give us your table topics evaluation report?
So it's funny how I was going to just do both at the same time, but I mean, this is
All
fine
right.
too.
Okay.
Anthony's not here, but he gave a really good summary of what his perfect day would be. And I kind of dived with that because sleep is so important to me. I don't have any kids. And he was talking about the kids he has and that they don't understand sleeping in on a Saturday or whatever. And I totally felt his pain when he said that. Tracy, you were talking about no AC in a hotel room and how that likened to camping and how like that would be your last resort. You'd call and be nice and everything, but the word that would be the word. And I was thinking I cannot sleep if it's hot. I don't know how it is in Michigan, but in Missouri, it's like from June to August, or sometimes into September. It's like you're living in an armpit. So when people say they're going camping, I'm like, nope. Anyway, Che, you were talking about sunscreen, and I am pale and freckly, so I definitely was like feeling you on the sunscreen, and I'm trying to break up with my phone. It's just really hard because I use it for all the things, taking pictures and things like that too. And Karen, you did a word of the day, and you talked about Lord. I always want to say Huron because it is Lord Huron. I'm the only one not from Michigan, so, or I don't know. Felice, I don't think you're from Michigan, but everybody else, either you lived there or live there, right? I know that Alan's in Florida, but he was in Michigan, right?
I was in Michigan for 2 years only.
Okay, so yeah. You're with me then. Felice, gosh, I would like to channel your response because and your like lack of confrontation. I'm all about confrontation. Sometimes I don't like to admit this out loud, but I strive for it. So you saying that you'd try to understand why the guy is mowing his grass at 5 a.m. on a Saturday, and I would be like restraining myself from calling him four-letter words. Anyway, Alan, your use of fireworks. I do not love fireworks, so I like to hear your positive take on them. And I don't know how to say this other than that what you said scared me a little bit, but I think that's good. Like to have that like we talked about like things blowing up and rockets flying out of your neighborhood. Oh my God. But that's good. I think that's good because it evoked an emotion. Joan, going to the gym is a hobby. In fact, I have a cousin whose entire personality is going to the gym. Like he belongs to the Church of CrossFit, and oh my God, to hear about it. So all the time, that's what he talks about. And it reverts back to like whatever. Anyway, you were very what you talked about is a good way to be, I think. And oh my God, you're not the only one who had knee surgery recently. Karen, you're the general evaluator, so I'm handing it back to you. Thank you. Toastmaster, general evaluator Karen.
Thank you. And now I'll ask Tracy to give us the timers report. Oh, I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. I'll ask Tracy to give us the grammarians report. Wow. I need to do a little mental reset. Go ahead.
Toastmaster Karen. So as the first time of doing this, I initially thought I was just counting for the speeches. And then I realized from a quick text message that was not the case. So I will do my best. There's one. So the first speech, Toastmaster Felice had 4 uses of so, 2 uses of and 1 yeah. I don't think that's a lot for a speech because maybe I'm wrong on this. I feel like part of learning to do the speech is like you want to be conversational, at least to a point. And those are words we use in conversation, maybe not a formal presentation, but certainly in a normal discourse. Toastmaster Alan shockingly, I had a 0 count for you until you noticed the red flag. and then, and then there were some ums in there. I'm out of time. Oh no. So, understandable, but that was great. That was great. I had my pen in hand. I had my notebook here and writing it all down. I was like, there's nothing to write down. He's doing great. So, and again, that was a great speech also. I can attest. That was great. So I do have some, once I realized I'm supposed to do everybody. So, Shay, I think these were all the table topic questions. Had 4 uses of just filler words. So, yeah, things like that. Karen, I only counted one, but you used the word of the day. So that was good. That was great news. Toastmaster Felice had a few, and there's, I think, 5 altogether of everything combined. Alan, on your table topics, you did have a few there. You had, and so, but you also use word of the day. So my book, they cancel each other out and you're good. And then Joan just had a couple, so anyway, and then Toastmaster Sheila just had, I couldn't write it down quick enough, just had 3 uses of filler words. And I wasn't sure, Toastmaster Karen, am I supposed to do the evaluations? I didn't know at that point, so I just was frantically writing things down. Is that right?
Okay. Yes, yes.
All right. Well, Toastmaster Karen's evaluation had a total of 1, 2, just 3, couple of ums. So Toastmaster Felice had a response with 4 ums, which is totally understandable, being caught off guard, not knowing she had to give a response. Toastmaster Kim just used the word so a couple of times, and then Toastmaster Sheila, for the table topics, used a few uses of like, and anyway, maybe about 8 or 10 times, if you combine it all together. And that's all I have. I did not evaluate myself. I think I might be missing 1 or 2 others. Sorry about that.
Well, thank you, Tracy. You were very conscientious, and that's very appreciated because we need to make ourselves aware that we're using filler words. It's very easy to use them and not hear them as we're using them. The funny thing is we can hear them a lot more when other people say them. So that's why we want to be more aware. We just have 4 minutes left until the close of the meeting. So let me give a quick wrap up. First, I want to thank the people who are the first timers who've been doing things for the first time. First time grammarian, first time Toastmaster, first time icebreaking speaker. Thank you, everybody. I appreciate your excitement and enthusiasm. And if Joan were here, I'd thank her for being word of the day master as well. So we have our next meeting coming up. It's almost 3 weeks away. So you'll have a little break because of the way the calendar falls. It will be on July 14th. I'm just going to do a quick share of my screen so you can see that we have, we have the lineup will be Kimberly Toastmaster. Looks like we have word of the day, Joan again. Our speakers, Tara, Che, and Bill. Table topics will be Tracy, general evaluator. Well, no need to read down the whole list. You can see for yourself, and we'll be publishing it. Are there any questions or comments or observations that anyone wants to make about the meeting tonight?
I didn't give the timers report. Since we have a few minutes, I'll just do that real quick.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, Felice, I had 7:21 as like the timing of your speech, but if that jives with what you had written down, I don't know.
Alan? Yeah, it's the same. Thanks.
Okay, perfect. Alan, 7:39. And okay, Anthony's not here, but now we're going into table topics. He spoke for 154 and on his perfect day. And then Tracy, you spoke for 127. I spoke for 116. Che for 101. Karen for 111. Felice 112. Alan for 122, and Joan, you know what? I wrote down Jim, like all the notes on that, but I didn't write your time down. So I hope I did make note mentally that everybody was under 2 minutes, but spoke for at least a minute. And then the evaluations, I was like not cognizant of keeping the timing on those. I mean, I showed them up here, but I didn't write them down. Anyway, thank you. That was it. Back to you, Karen. Thanks.
All right. All right. Thank you, Sheila. I'm sorry I didn't specifically ask you to do timers. I guess I got myself a little cart before the horse by asking you to do timer and then skipping back and asking you to do evaluation of table topics. All right. So I think we had a successful meeting today. We met all the requirements. We've had some good speeches. We're moving forward. I am going to be sending out some links. I want to send out links for people to see what the meeting roles are so that people who are new can get an idea of what all the meeting roles are about. Officer role links, I'm just going to include that in the same emails to avoid sending multiple emails for people who are upcoming officers, what the roles are, and any other items of note. I will include that in an upcoming email. Oh, I know. I created a new orientation video for pathways. So I'll send that out so everyone will have the same links. If there's anything else anybody wants me to communicate, let me know so I can include that. And with that being said, I think I will ask, let's see, if I have my gavel handy. I don't, so I'll ask our Sergeant at Arms to call the meeting to a close.
Closed.
Thank you, Kim. And thank you all for attending. And best wishes to everybody. We'll be seeing you on July 14th.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Thank you.